Hello everyone, welcome back. We know that nowadays many of the organizations are moving to cloud, and AWS is a major player on cloud environment. And AWS provides the option to create a database in two different methods. That is, you can create for example, if you are taking Oracle database, you can get or you can run an Oracle database as a service, that is a relational database service or RDS on AWS, or you can create an EC2 instance, that's a virtual machine, and then you can install install Oracle software and create a database, and you can work on it. The difference is that in the case of in EC2, you will be the responsible for entire management of the database. That means you are responsible for the installation, you are responsible for creating the database, maintaining the backups, and patching, etc. But in the case of RDS, that is a relational database service, wherein which database is offered as a service, then almost all the maintenance activities like patching, upgrading, everything will be taken care by AWS. In this session, we will be learning how to create an Oracle database under AWS. In this session, we will be going to create, or we will be creating an Oracle database under a virtual machine, or also known as EC2 instance. So we will be performing 4 steps for achieving this. The first step is that we will be creating an EC2 instance. EC2 instance is a virtual machine on cloud. Second, we will be downloading the Oracle 12c software. As of today, when I checked, I could see that Oracle 12c is not directly downloadable from Oracle website. So we have to download it from edelivery.oracle.com. So you should have an account created on edelivery.oracle.com. But it's a single sign-on account, which means if you have an account on oracle.com or OTN, Oracle Technology Network, if you have an account, then you will be able to use the same account on edelivery.oracle.com as well. So if you don't have an account, you can just create an account that is free of cost, and you can download the software. And the third step is that we will be installing the Oracle software in silent mode on the EC2 instance, and then we'll create a database as well in silent mode. So let's proceed. First, we will create an EC2 instance. So for that, you have to log into AWS console. I have already logged into AWS console. If you don't have the access or if you don't have a account with AWS, I would recommend that you create a free tier account. So here what happens is that the current step of installation of the Oracle 12c we can do with a with a free tier account. But since I wanted to do some kind of additional practices, like say I wanted to install Golden Gate and see how I can move the data from my on-premise to to AWS, I may not be able to do everything with the EC2 instance provided as a part of the free tier. So I'll be creating an EC2 instance of a little bit of higher configuration. But if your intention is to only or to practice only the installation of the Oracle software and create a database, then you can create a virtual machine which is available on in free tier option. I'll show you the methods for that. Okay, so after you connect it to the console, you can see the services on the left hand side, but you can just type over here, just give the name EC2. So you'll get the option of EC2, and just click on EC2. Okay, so here you can see that which is the region that I'm selecting. Here I'm selecting the region as North Virginia. You can select that region which is closer to you. Now if you scroll down, you will get an option to launch an instance. So just click on launch instance. It will take you to the page of Amazon Machine Images. So here the Amazon Machine Images indicates that which operating system that you wanted to use. So in my case, I will be going ahead with Red Hat, which is eligible for free tier. Or else if you wanted to filter out the options which are free tier only, you can just select free tier, and you will be getting the option Red Hat Enterprise Linux 8 SSD volume type. So you can select that and make sure that you are selecting 64-bit. Select. Okay. Now, by default, the free tier is eligible for T2 micro, which means for this you have one virtual CPU and 1 GB memory, and you have the storage as EBS. But as I mentioned earlier, this may not be sufficient for my further practices. So what I'll do that I'll go ahead with the option that is T2 medium, which gives me 2 CPUs and 4 GB of memory. I think that, or I can go ahead with the T2 large as well, but for the time being, T2 medium will be more than sufficient for my practices. So I'll select the option T2 medium, but remember T2 medium is not coming under free tier, so I may have to pay some amount. Okay, so select that and just click on next, configure instance details. Okay, how many instances that require? For this practice I require only one instance, so I'll select that one instance and I'll select everything as a default and then click on add storage. Okay, by default the storage that comes is 10 GB. That is more than sufficient for installing the operating system, but for let's say for storing the database files and then storing the other files like backups, Golden Gate, etc., I require additional volume. So what I'll do that I'll click on add new volume, and here I'll be selecting let's say I'll be selecting 50 GB. So totally my instance will be having around 50 GB, totally 60 GB will be there. 10 GB will be used for the operating system, and 50 GB will be used for storing my data files and Oracle binaries, etc. And here, if you're on the right hand, if you're looking, you can see that delete on termination. So the root volume is I have selected for delete on termination. The reason is that that is specifically related with the operating system. So if I'm launching another instance, there is no point in I keep this path. But in the case of the other one, which I selected for storing my database files, I'm not selecting the delete on termination. The reason is that I can use this volume on another instances. Say for example, I wanted to go ahead with a higher instance, so I can just use the same volume and attach that to the higher instance. So that way we can avoid I mean we can save some time. Okay, and I'm not selecting any encryption now, but a point to be noted is that see, in the case of cloud, especially when you're practicing, mainly you will be selecting the option of like pay as per you go. If you just go back to the previous slides, you will be seeing that what kind of type of server that you will be running. So here you can see that you are going ahead with the shared server, and here what happens is that you are paying as per what you use. So it's a pay as per use. So what normally recommended is that if you are not using the server, then you can terminate. You can stop that server, and if you are not at all working, then you can even terminate it. So what happens? But with respect to the virtual machine, there are multiple charges are involved. The one is that the running cost of the virtual machine, which you can reduce by stopping the virtual machines which you are not using, or whenever you are going for a break or something, you can shut down the server. That way you will avoid the running cost. The second is that the storage cost. By default 30 GB is available as a free tier option. So above that, whatever you are using, for example we are using 60 GB, so that for that 30 GB you will be paying. But what will happen is that 30 GB additional whatever you are paying, you have to pay even if you are not running the system, because even if you are not running the system, still the storage is running for you, right? So because of that you have to pay. So you have to, like say if you are running, if you are making some trials, you can even try within the free tier limit. For example, if you are just planning to install the Oracle software and then create a database and just play around with the database, in that case what you need is that you require I think you require only 30 GB. So you can limit your storage usage also under 30 GB, so that you don't have to pay anything additional. But in my case, since I am planning to do some additional experiments, I'll be using the additional storage. So it's obvious that I will be charged a little bit additional. Okay, So I'll go ahead with the storage addition one more time. So I'm using 10 GB and 50 GB, and then the next is that I can add some tags. Here I'll leave it. The next one is a configuration of security groups. So what kind of connections are supported to this server? So by default SSH is enabled, and here I have opened it for the world, like I'm using the range of 0, so which means it is accessible from anywhere. But in the case of production environments, you should allow the access only from a set of IP addresses. So you can specify the IP addresses over there. And I'll enable the port number 1521, so that I will be able to access the database via network. Okay. Okay. So the next step is that I have to. This is the summary, and it says that it's above the free tier. I'm okay with that. And it gives me the security groups, like what port is opened. I have opened the port number 22 and the 1521, and then click on launch. Okay, so when I click on launch, there are we have to download a key pair. A key pair consists of the private key and public key. So we have to make sure that we are using the private key to access the server. There is no AWS is not allowing any direct username and password combination. Rather, we can access only through the key pair. So you have the option of creating a new key pair. So I'll create a new key pair, and I'll use that like say server access. Okay, so I'll just create Vaishid server access. So I created a key pair name Vaishid server access, and then I'll download that key pair. An important point is that once you download this key pair will not be available. So this is available only one time. So we have to make sure that you are storing in a securable and accessible location. Okay, I download the key pair. Okay, I'll save it. Okay, and now I can launch the instance. So that means the instance is starting now. While the instance is starting, I'll do some other activity. That means I'll create a file called ppk file. So the file what we downloaded right now is of format .pem. So putty, since we have to connect it to the server, we will be using putty, right? So putty will not be directly understanding the PEM file. So if you are using putty to connect it to your virtual machine running on EC2, you have to convert that PEM file to a ppk file. So how do we do that? For that, you need to have a utility, that is putty keygen. Okay, so this this software will be available by default if you have installed putty software. If it is not there, you can just go to Google and search for putty keygen, and you will be able to download and install. And I have created a separate video on how to use the putty keygen. So I'll not be going through in detail about it, but I'll just show you the process. So start the putty keygen, and here you will be seeing that there is an option to download an existing private key file. So click on load and go to the location where the software is the key file is downloaded. I'll go to downloads, and I'll go select all files, and I have this one, that is Vaishid server access.pm. I'll select it. Okay, and now you can see that the public key information is available here, and now we can save this as a private key. So just click on save private key, and it will ask you that do you want to save without a passphrase. Yes. Okay, so I'll go to the downloads directory itself, and I'll give the name Vaishid _server .access ppk. Okay, so the file is created now. Now we will come back to the Amazon AWS console. Just click on the instance name. Okay, now if suppose assuming that you missed this page, so what you can do that you can again search for the EC2 and click on the EC2. You will get an option, the instances. So here you can see that instances which are running. Click on the instance, and here it says that it is running. If you click on instance ID, you will get a lot of information. The most important information that we require is the public IP address. So click here you get an option to copy your public IP address. Click on copy public IP address, and then what you need is that you will start a new session on putty. So just click on you just type putty here. Okay, and here you give the IP address. Okay, and then what you have to do is that on the left hand side you can see that connection tab, and also you can see that SSH. Under the connection tab you have another session for SSH. Just click on SSH, expand it, and you will be seeing that there is another sub session, that's auth. Click on auth, and here it will give you an option to select the private key. So click on the browse, and then go to the session and select the private key which we created now. Okay, and then under the connection itself there is a tab data, and you have an option like auto login username. There you can type EC2-user. Okay, so the default user which is available is EC2 user, so you can give that, and then you can come back, and if you wanted to save the session name as, let's say, Vaishit AWS server, I give a name, and then just click on save. Okay, and to make the connection you can just click on open, and you can see that it is asking that do you want it to test, and you click on yes. Okay, now you have connected to your EC2 instance. Now I'll just increase the like change the background color so that it will be more visible. Okay, so I changed some background color and etc, so it's more visible now. Okay, now to switch to root user I can give sudo su hyphen, and then what will do that I'll create a user. I mean, if you want, we can create a Oracle user. Otherwise, anyway, we have to install the pre-installed RPM, right? So, as a part of the installation, we have to install the pre-install RPM. So, when you install the pre-install RPM, at that time also the user will get created. Okay, so to summarize, in this session what we learned is that we learned how to create a EC2 instance for installing Oracle software, and what we did is that we have installed we created a virtual machine, and then we made sure that we are able to connect it to the virtual machine. The next part is that we will proceed with the if you look at the steps, what it is, and we have first this step. The first step of creating the EC2 instance is completed. So the next step is that we have to download the Oracle 12c software from edelivery.oracle.com. Then we have to install the Oracle 12c in silent mode. For that, the first step will be that we have to let's say we have to install Oracle 12c pre-install RPM. Since we are using Oracle, I mean the Red Hat release 8. So if you go to cat/etc/star release, we can see that it is Red Hat Linux 8. So in Red Hat Linux 8, you will not be getting the Oracle 12c pre-install RPM for Oracle 12c. Rather, we will get for the Oracle 18c. That should not be a problem. We are good here. We can install the same RPM. But for that, first step, what we need is that whether we have to confirm whether we are able to ping to Oracle website. So we'll just give ping edelivery .oracle.com. Okay, so we are able to ping, so we are good. So the next step will be that we will download the Oracle software. Second, we will install the pre-installed RPM, and then we will install the Oracle software in silent mode. Okay, let's proceed with that. We'll proceed with the downloading of the software and the pre-installation installation of the RPM, etc. We'll do it in the next session. Hello guys. In our previous session, we have created an EC2 instance for installing our Oracle 12c database on Amazon EC2. The next step is that we will download the Oracle software. So there are two options. One is that you can download the Oracle software on your laptop or your desktop, and then you can use the tools like WinSCP to copy the files to your EC2 instance. But that will take some time. The reason is that you will be downloading on your computer, and then from there you are copying to EC2 instance, right? So that will take a lot of time. The better option is that you can download the software directly from your EC2 instance. We'll see how to do that. If you wanted to know how to how to copy the file from your Windows machine to your EC2 instance, I have created another video which says that how to copy the files from your Windows machine to EC2 instance using WinSCP. You can watch that video. But I felt that directly downloading on the server is much easier and faster. For that, first we have to connect to edelivery.oracle.com. The reason is that Oracle 12c software is not available for download from Oracle or OTN website. So we'll go to edelivery.oracle.com. Once you are there on edelivery.oracle.com, you have the option of either sign in to use an existing username and password, or else you can create a new username and password. I'll select the option sign in, and I'll log in with my account. Okay, so once you are inside the eDelivery website, you have the option to select the software that you wanted to download. For example, here I'll give Oracle RDBMS. So when I give Oracle RDBMS, I'll be able to get the yeah, you may have to search here. Yeah, you can see that Oracle Enterprise. Or we will give Oracle Database. Okay, so here you are getting Oracle Database, and you are getting Oracle Database 12c. So select the option Oracle Database 12c, and there you will be getting the different options like Oracle Database 12c 12.2.1, and you have the different options. So I'll select the option Oracle Database 12c 12.2.0.1. Okay, so it's added to my downloads, and now I can see that go to cart and click on continue. So here you can see that it is showing us Oracle Database 12c, Oracle Client, Oracle Grid Infrastructure, etc. And here the platform is blank. So first thing, we have to select the platform. In our case, it is Linux x86 64. And if you go with the entire software download, it will be around like around 8 GB of yeah, 7 GB it will be coming. So we don't require client, and we don't require grid infrastructure for this class. So I'll be unselecting both Oracle client and Oracle Database Grid Infrastructure. I'll make sure that I have selected only Oracle Database 12c 12.2.0.1, and then to continue, we'll click on continue. Okay, we have to accept the license agreement. I'll just click on accept license agreement, and click on continue. Okay, so here what happens is that there are two options by which we can download. One is that you can just click on this downloadable link, where which the software will get downloaded to our laptop. The other option is that we have the wget option. So if you click on the wget option, you will be getting the options to or you will be getting a script. That is, a script name is download.sh. That script you will download, it will get downloaded on your computer, and using that you will be able to download that from your Linux machine. So just click on download. It will download on your computer. If you wanted to, you can just open with Notepad. Once it's opened, you can just copy this entire thing and open a file on your EC2 instance. So in this EC2 instance, what I'll do is that so here you can see that the options wget and zip, these utilities are not available as a part of the default installation. So what we will do that we will install these utilities. For that we can give yum install let's say wget. Okay, so now wget is installed. The same way we can install zip as well. We can give yum install zip. So when you install zip, it will install both zip as well as the unzip. You can see that it is installing both zip as well as unzip. Okay, so that is completed. Now we can rerun the download.sh. So when you give the download.sh, it will prompt us to enter the username. So let's enter the username. So after we provide the username and password, then the software will be downloaded, and if you in few minutes the software will be downloaded completely. Now if you are giving ls-l, you can see that the software, the Windows Oracle 12c release 2 is downloaded now. Now we have the file over here. Now to unzip, you can use the unzip and you can start using it. So I hope that's clear. In this session, what we did is that we have download the Oracle 12c software. For that, we had two options. One is that we can download the software on the local PC, and then using the WinSCP, you can copy to the EC2 instance. Or else the easier method is that you download directly using wget utility from your EC2 instance. For that, if you are downloading the software from edelivery.oracle.com, it gives you a script which is known as wget or download.sh. The file name is wget.sh. You can download that software and then that script and copy to EC2 instance and run it. Or else you can just copy the contents, create a file on your EC2 instance and then execute it. When you execute that script, it will prompt you to enter the username, that is your single sign-on username and password. Once you give the username and password, then the software will get downloaded within 5 minutes time. So now we have the software, and the next step is that we'll install the Oracle software. Before that, we have to install the pre-installed RPM. Once that is completed, then we'll proceed with the installation. We'll see that in the next class. So what things we have completed as of now? We have completed the creation of the EC2 instance, and we have completed the downloading of the software on the EC2 instance. Yeah. I hope you guys are clear till now. Hi guys, as of now we have completed the steps of creating an EC2 instance and then downloading the Oracle software on the EC2 instance. Now we will go ahead with the third step, in which we will install the Oracle software on EC2 instance. For that, the first step is that we have to install the pre-installed RPM provided by Oracle. So we can download that pre-install RPM from Oracle yum server. For that, you can go to yum.oracle.com. If you are not sure about the path or the URL, you can search Google for Oracle yum repository. Okay, the first page will be taking you to yum.oracle.com for Oracle Linux 8. Just click on it and select the there are different options. First one will be the base OS latest, and the second will be the app stream latest. So select the app stream latest and select the option x86-64. Click on it and then just search for 19C. Okay, so when you search for 19C, you will get the Oracle Database Preinstall 19C RPM. Okay, so when you just move the cursor over there, right click and then select the option copy link, so that URL is copied. Now come back to the EC2 instance. So once you are on EC2 instance, you can just give wget and then in double quotes you can give that link that you copied, and just execute, and you can see that it is downloading that RPM. So you can say that the RPM is downloaded, and if you give ls-l, you will be able to see that RPM. Now to install the RPM, you can give yum install and then give the RPM name. So which will install the pre-installed RPM which is provided by Oracle. Okay, so the pre-install RPM is completed. Now if you're looking, you can see that there is a user with the name Oracle is created. A user is created with the username Oracle, and user ID is 54321 and group ID is install. The next step is that we can unzip the Oracle software, and then we can unzip the Oracle software, and when we can start proceeding with the installation of Oracle software, which we will be covering in the next session. Hello everyone. We are continuing with the installation of Oracle software on EC2 instance. So we have completed the steps like creating of the EC2 instance. We have completed the downloading of the software on from edelivery.oracle.com to our EC2 instance, and we have completed the pre-installed RPM installation as well. The next step is that we have to install the Oracle software. So if you look at the this particular file system, you can see that the total file system availability is only 10 GB. Out of that, 5.7 GB is utilized and 4.4 is free. But if you remember, we have created 2 disks, right? And one disk was 10 GB and another one was like 50 GB. So why are we not getting, or why are we not seeing that that particular space? The reason is that the disk is available to the operating system, but it is not mounted on the Linux operating system. So we have to format that volume, and then we have to mount that volume to our operating system. We'll see how to do that. So if you are running the command, that is lsblk, you can see that there is 2 disks. The first disk is xvda, that's of 10 GB, and we can see that xvdv, that's of 50 GB. And if you are giving fdisk-l, you can see that the first disk, that is dev/xvda, is mounted and it's of 10 GB, and the other one, that is dev/xvdv, is 50 GB and it is not mounted. So and also if you are giving df-h, we can confirm that the disk which is mounted is dev/xvda2, which is a partition of the first disk. Okay, so the next step is that how do we mount the EBS volume which we created to our Linux operating system. So since we are doing it on AWS, Amazon provides a set of steps to do it, and we'll perform that. We can go to Google and search for mounting EBS Volume on EC2 Instance. It will take to Amazon's documentation. And here you can see that the first step what Amazon is telling is that we have to create a file system. So we can give mkfs-t, the file system, and the volume name. So what we will do is that I'll use the command mkfs. I will not be going through xfs file system, rather I'll be going through ext3, and we have to rename the disk name correctly. So /dev/x, okay, lsblk. Okay, so it is xvdb. Okay, so first we'll create a file system on this device, and then we'll mount it. So just copy this command, that is mount mkfs. Mkfs stands for make file system -t, that file system type, there is ext3, and then the disk or the volume to be formatted with ext3. So in the so what will happen is that particular disk, that is xvdb, will be formatted using the file system ext. Okay, now the file system is created. Now the next step is that we have to mount this device to a directory in our operating system. So for that, I want to mount this device as Vaishid folder. So what happens that I have already created a Vaishid folder. So if I go to root file system, and if I root mount point, and if I give ls-l, I can see that there is a directory Vaishid. So what I'll do that I'll just rename this this directory, and then I'll create a new directory, and I mount the device to that directory. So first step, I'll rename this directory as stage. So I'll give move Vaishid space stage. Okay, so where in which I have my binaries downloaded. So that's the reason I'm giving the name as stage. The next is that I'll create a directory mkdir Vaishid. Okay, the next step is that after creating the directory, we have to mount. So we can give mount, then the device name, that is /dev/xvdb. I think it is xvdb, right? xvdb space /Vaishid. Okay, the mounting is completed. Now if I'm giving df-h, I can see that I have a 50 GB mounted out. You can see 49 GB. It is used for some internal usage. So you can see that device is mounted now. Now if you are giving fdisk-l, you will be able to see that it is mounted over here, right? So we have the so our 50 GB disk is now mounted in our Linux operating system. Now the point is that if this is a temporary mounting which we have done by running the mount command explicitly, to make this permanent, we have to update in our fs tab. So if I give the command vi /etc/fs tab, I can see that the current directory or the current file system which are mounted now. So I'll just make a addition here. I'll give /dev/xvdb space /Vaishid, and then this is of ext3, and I'll give defaults, and I can give 0 and 1. Okay, I'll save this. Now what I have to do is that I have to unmount the current mounting. I'll give umount space /Vaishid. Okay, now if I'm giving df-h, you cannot see that Varshid as mount point, that 50 GB is not there. Now what we need to do is that we have to ask or you have to make Unix to read the entries on FS tab. So for that you can give mount -a. So after giving mount -a, now let's give df-h. Now you can see that the Varshid mount point is back. So after this, now for every or whenever the Unix whenever the operating system is rebooted, at that time it is going to read the FS tab, and as per the FS tab entry, this this particular disk, that is /dev xbb, will be mounted as /Varshid. Now what we can do is that now we can create the directories what is required for the Oracle software installation, and we can proceed with the installation, which we will be covering in the next session. Hello guys, welcome back. Now we have completed up to the stage of downloading the software and installing the pre-installed RPM, and we have made sure that we have mounted that 50 GB additional storage which we created during the time of the EC2 instance mounted to our EC2 instance. Now the next step is that we have to proceed with the installation. So we have created a mount point, that is /Varshid. And I want all the files and the Oracle home, everything should be created in this mount point. So what I'll do, that the first step, I'll copy the software from the stage directory to this Varshid directory. For that I'll give cp -stage and then the file to /Varshid. Okay, the file is copied. Now I'll change the ownership of this mount point to Oracle user. That will be easier for us. I'll give ch-on oracle:/install /Varshid. Okay, now I'll switch to Oracle user, and I'll go to /Varshid, and then I'll unzip the software. I'll give unzip. Okay, the software is unzipped, and if I give we can see that there is a folder with the name database. Now we'll go to that folder, cd database, and there you can see a response folder, a folder with the name response, and inside that folder we have sample response file. So I'll copy the response file, that is db-install.response file, to the home directory of Oracle user. Okay, and then I'll modify the response file, that copied response file. So I am currently on the home directory of this user, and I'll give vi okay, but before we proceed with the installation, what I want is that now you can see that the server name is showing us IP hyphen the private IP address of this machine. So that will be kind of difficult for it to understand. So what I'll do, that I'll change the host name. For that I have to switch to root user, and then I have to use host name CTL. This is a utility which will be helping us to change the host name. So what I'll do, that I'll take the help of this utility, and I'll give help. So the command to change the host name is set host name. So we'll give set host name, and also we can set the static host name. We can give -- static. So we can give host name CTL, and space set host name. I'll give Varshid server. Okay, I'll give a name Varshid server, and I'll give -- static. Okay, now if I'm giving host name, you can see that the host name is changed. Okay, and now I'll switch to Oracle back. Okay, now you can see that it is showing us Oracle@Varshit server. It's clear. Now I'll go to /Varshit. Okay, no need to go to /. I have copied on my home directory. The Oracle uses home directory is there. And now we'll change the response file. Okay, let's modify the response file. The first step is that what is the type of installation. So we'll go ahead with the install software only option. Okay, and the next step is that Unix group name, inventory owner will be oinstall. Okay, inventory location will be /Varshit /ora inventory. Remember, we have to create these directories before we start the installation. And the Oracle home will be /Varshit /db home _1. Oracle base will be /Varshit /Oracle. And I'll be going ahead with the enterprise edition, so I'll give EE. Okay, and the DBA group will be DBA, and OS Opera also I'll give DBA. For all the groups I'll give us DBA. This is a testing purpose. After this I'll be deleting this instance, so it's just only for learning purpose. So I'm just giving whichever easier one. But in the case of production environments, you have to make sure that you are giving the group name as per your company standards. So we don't have any anything that we have to specify for the grid. So I'll cancel. I'll ignore all those things, and I'll install. I'll ignore the options of database configuration, because we are not creating the database as a part of this installation. So we have to scroll down after the database part all over. Then in one place it will be asking to specify the Oracle username and password. Oracle support username and password. Since we are running on testing environment, that's not applicable for us. So we'll ignore the this option, that is my Oracle support username. We'll ignore it. So once you are ignoring, then the next step will be that whether you wanted to get security updates. By default it will be true, so we have to give false here. And then the next step is that do you want to decline security updates. Here it is by default it is false, we have to make it true. Okay, so that's all we have to do it on this the response file. We can save this response file and we can execute execute the installation silent mode. But before that, let's create the directories. So I'll create mkdir /Varshit /Oracle, and then /Varshit /ora inventory, and then /Varshit /db home _1. Whatever the path I have given in my response file, I have created the directories as per that. The next step is that we have to run the run installer in the silent mode. So we'll go to the database folder where we have unzipped the software, that's Varshit database, and here you have the run installer. So you can just give /run installer, and if you wanted to get if you are not sure about the options, we can give -help. So once we are getting the options, we will run it. Okay, now if you scroll up, we can see all the options. The option is that silent, and then response file, and give the path of the response file. And then we don't want any like say we don't want it to execute any system prerequisite checks. So we will ignore the options of ignore system prerequisite, and then we'll run it. Okay, so we will give Okay, so here is our sample command. We are running /run installer -silent to indicate that it's a silent installation, -response file and the path of the response file, -ignore sys prerequisites, and -skip prerequisites. These are used for ignoring system prerequisite checks, and -show progress will display the progress. So now let's copy this and execute. Okay, so let's execute. Okay, we got an error message stating that for the installed edition, EE is not valid. What I am assuming that there is a space here, so I think that that's a issue. So let me open this file one more time. Home/Oracle DB install. Okay, I'll go to the edition. Yeah. Okay, I can see that there is a space, and that created the problem. Okay, save this, and one more time let me execute it. Okay, you can see that the copy is the installation is in progress. You can see that copy of files is in progress. Okay, now we can see that the installation is completed, and it is asking us to run the two scripts, that is aura inst root.sh and root.sh. So we'll switch back to the root user, and we will run these scripts one by one. From this you can see that the installation process is the same on whether it's an on-premise or on EC2 instance. The installation process is same. So with this we have completed the installation of Oracle software, that is Oracle 12c software on EC2 instance. I hope these steps are clear for you. The next step is that we will be creating creating an Oracle database. We'll see that in the next session. Hello guys. So as of now we have completed the following steps. We have installed we have created the EC2 instance, we have downloaded the software, we have completed the Oracle software installation. Now the next step is that we have to create the database. We'll use the tool that is DBCA in silent mode to create the database. But you can follow any of the other method, like if you wanted to use or if you wanted to create the database using the SQL plus commands, you can create it. As you are doing how you are doing it on a normal standalone server, the same way you will be able to create the database, because the steps are the same. But for this demonstration I'll be creating the database using the silent DBCA using the silent method. Okay, so I'll copy the response file from our Vaishad database, Vaishad database response, and dbca.rsp file. I'll copy this file to the Oracle users home directory, and I'll modify in this path. So I'll give the global DB name as, let's say I'll give us ORCL, and SID also ORCL. Okay, and default is a single instance, so we don't have to change anything. We'll see the rack, it's not a rack 1 node, so we'll skip all the non-mandatory options. It's a I'll use the same password for the both sys and system. I'll use the same password. Okay, here a point to be noted that we are specifying whether we want EM configuration or not. If you are using central, means it is a centralized if you are giving central, means you have an enterprise cloud control software is installed, and that is a centralized management option, and you are having an agent installed on this host, and this agent is going to monitor. So in our case, we are not using that, so we will just give the default value, that is none, means there is no EM configuration enabled here. If you have enabled, then we have to provide the corresponding username and passwords. So I'll skip all these things, and so the default file location will be Oracle base / Oradata. In our case, Oracle base / Vaishnav Oracle, and we are not providing any recovery area. The default value will be Oracle base / flash recovery. Storage is file system, so we are not changing anything on that. So I think this is pretty clear. There is nothing much we have to discuss here. The reason is that you are all familiar with how to create the database using DBCA. So I'm just skipping these topics, and I'm just saving it, and I'll run DBCA in silent mode. So to run DBCA in silent mode, I have to specify that is /varshit db home bin /dbca -silent, and I have to provide -response file /home /oracle /dbca.rsp. Okay, so I'll give this, and once the response file is executed, the database will be up and running. I hope you are clear with that. Okay, so the command to create the database in silent mode will be dbca -silent -create database -response file, and the path of the response file. Let's execute it, and you can see that the database is getting created. Okay, when we executed, we got an error message that invalid template file specified. So if you look at the response file, we can search for the template. We can see that that template file name is mandatory. You can see that it is mandatory, and there is no default value. So where will be the template file? So we can give that, or we can find out the template file name from our Oracle home itself. So if you go to your Oracle home, cd /varshit database, okay, cd templates, it's under Oracle home. So if you go to /varshit db home _1, this is my Oracle home. Under that, there will be a folder with the name templates. cd assistance dbca. Okay, cd templates. Okay, so the template location will be under the Oracle home. There will be a folder with the name assistants. Under that, you will have the DBCA folder, and under that you have folder templates. So here you can see the template name. For example, general_purpose.dbc. This is a template name, or data_warehouse.dbc. So we will give this a name. So we'll just open our response file, and go to templates, okay, and template name will give us, let's say, a general purpose. Okay, Now save this, and then we can run DBCA one more time. Okay, so we are running DBCA -silent -create database -response file and the path of the response file. Let's see how it goes. Okay, now we can say it's created, it's database creation started. It's 1% complete. It will take some time to complete the database creation. Now we can see that the database creation is completed. Now if you look at the process status, we can just give ps-eaf pipe grep smode. We can see that the ORCL instance is up and running. Now we'll try to connect it to the this instance. We'll see whether an entry in Aura tab there or not, /etc/Aura tab. Okay, there is an entry for this database in the Aura tab file. Now we'll set the environment variables. We'll call Aura env and give the database instance name. And now we can connect to the database by giving SQL plus /as sysdba. Select open _ mode, comma name from $database. Okay, so the database is opened in the read-write mode. With that, we have created the database in EC2 instance in silent mode. Now the next step is that if you want, we can create a listener. I think you guys are very clear about how to start up a listener. To start the listener, we can just give lsnrctl start. Now the listener is started, and since this database is running, the listener is running on the default port number, that is 1521. Soon it will be the database will do the self-registration, and it will be listening, the listener will be ready to accept the connections for this database. If you connect to this database now, that is, we'll do a self-registration now. We'll connect to the database, and we'll give alter system register. Okay, now if you look at this services for the listener, we'll give lsnrctl status. Okay, now you can see that the database that the ORCL database which we created now is now ready, and the listener is listening to this particular database. Okay, so to summarize, in this session we have learned how to create a database, Oracle database in silent mode in EC2 instance, and we have also we started our listener, and we made sure that the listener is accepting or ready to accept the connections for this database. The next session is that we'll try to connect to this database from our Windows laptop. We'll cover this in the next session. Till then, hello guys, welcome back. In our previous class, with our previous class, we have completed the data installation of Oracle RDBMS software on our EC2 instance, and we have created the database successfully. And in today's class, we will we'll see how we can connect to the database which is running on EC2 from our Windows server for Windows machine. For that, we'll use Oracle's SQL Developer. Once you download the SQL Developer, I hope you are clear of how to do the installation, download and installation of the SQL Developer. You can go to if you are not familiar, it's quite easy. Just go to Google and search for SQL Developer download. It will take you to Oracle website, and you can download the Windows 64-bit with the JDK included. Just download and unzip the software. Once you unzip, what will happen is that it will create a folder. In my case, under my downloads directory, you can see that there is a directory, and under that we have the SQL Developer folder. And then you just double click on the SQL Developer executable. Once the SQL Developer executable is started, then you will get an option to start a new connection. as here. So here, once it is started, you will get an option on the left hand side, a plus symbol, to start a new connection. Click on it, and here you can provide all the information, that the host name, the port number, the database name or the service name, and then the username and password. So here in the local host, on the host name, it will be the IP address of the public IP address of your EC2 instance. I'll for the time being, I'll be hiding those informations. Okay, so here we are providing the host name, and then we are providing the port number, and we are providing the service name. In our case, it's ORCL. And then here the username is system, and then give the password of that user. So once we give the required details, then we can just test the connectivity. For that, just click on test, and if all the information we provide is correct, then you can see that the test status comes as success. And now we can save it. I'll give a name, that is my first EC2 DB. So that's the name that I'm giving, and you can just click on save to save that information. And to connect, you can just click on connect. It again asks the password, give the password, and click on OK. Okay, so we have connected now. On the left hand side, you can see all the tables, and if you just expand, you will be able to get all the list of the tables. And if you wanted to create a table, we'll just create a table. Create table my tab name varchar2 of 100. Okay, copy this command and execute it. The table will be created now. The table my tab is created. And if you wanted to insert a few records, insert into